Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, my name is Chibi, and I'm going to be your host for this evening, and welcome to the 29th Annual Southern Fried Regional Poetry Slam, the virtual edition. At Southern Fried, we believe that Black Lives Matter, we support and believe in the rights of our LGBTQ community, and we believe that every person should have equal access to living their best lives physically, spiritually, and artistically. We encourage you to be respectful of everyone's identity, and remember that every person on this stage has equal value. At Southern Fried, we just poems, not people. Tonight, you're going to see 3 teams of poets and 2 independent poets from the Southeast and beyond competing for a chance to get onto the final stage, which is happening tomorrow, people. Tomorrow afternoon for indies and tomorrow night for teams. If you are present in the Zoom bout, that means my fellow poets and judges and other people running the scenes, please make sure to mute your mics and turn your cameras off when you are not performing. Judges, you're the exception. We're asking you to keep your cameras on during the poem so we can see you enjoying the poem. So I'm going to go ahead and ask my judges to turn on your cameras. Now would be a good time to turn on your cameras. There we go. I got Judge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pow, 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 joining me from all across this beautiful country. Thank you. And maybe further than the country. I don't know. Who knows? In any case, this bout is attended by poets who are logging in from around the world, so please give their poetry your love and undivided attention. In a poetry slam, there is no music, there are no costumes or props, and each poet will be performing original work. Poems may be up to 3 minutes long, but after a 10-second grace period, we all know, womp, 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 the performer loses points for going over time. You may see group pieces tonight, which means poets performing together as a team. This is normal. And encourage. Do not adjust your television stations. We have pre-selected judges this year, and you are seeing them right here in front of you. We got Julia, we got Makita, we got Lori, we got Becca, we got Frick. Thank you. They are not affiliated in any way with the poets that are performing tonight, but we are excited to find out what they think, because for tonight, at least in this bout, for the next 90 minutes or so, their opinions are the only ones that matter. These judges are our poetry expert tonight, but please feel free to use the chat to let the judges know whether you agree with them or not, whether you're on Zoom or watching on YouTube. Do it. Let your voices be heard. You can use reaction buttons, you can use emojis, you can leave comments. Feel free to interact on social media and share this with your friends. Judges, no matter what they say, they don't know what they're talking about. Don't let the audience sway you. Tonight, you are the experts. If you like the poetry you hear tonight, we'll make sure to post the contact information of the poets so you can purchase merchandise. Some of us do this full time and have merchandise that they have available, so that whether it's books, CDs, t-shirts, whatever it is, support the poets that you love and hear tonight. Southern Fried merchandise is available on our website, and tickets to finals can be purchased through Eventbrite. Again, that's tomorrow. We would love to have you join us and these poets as they battle it out for the 2021 championship. So, that being said, we're almost ready to start the slam. But before we do, we have a calibration poet. Judges, this poet is not part of the competition, but we want you to judge them just the same. They are your barometer. Judges, you may use this poet's score as your baseline of references for the poems that you will judge throughout the bout for the rest of the evening, which means if you give this poet, for example, a 7.2, anything that comes after that's better should be higher than a 7.2. Anything that comes after that's worse should be lower than a 7.2. But only you know your criteria. So let's get this thing going, people. Please welcome, show some love in the chats and the comments and all wherever you're watching, our sacrificial poet for the evening, Matthew Cuban Hernandez.
Right now, in every part of my body, I am punk rocking in England with a bunch of hooligans. We all got beards. We're loud and matter of fact, concrete and leather. We are now everything I have never been or ever will be, but the music crescendos, and we rage and we howl, and the night doesn't come because we're not done. We are a carpool or a car wreck or whatever comes first or feels best right now. Right now, we're a pile up on the 5, on 95, waiting for the ambulance, but the music is so loud. It's still loud enough that we don't notice the gash, the brush, the cell phone ringing like a cat in heat, concrete and leather, but this depression, this shut in and shut up, it's death metal. It's punk rock. It's the screaming we don't get to make out of fear of noise complaints. Thank God for the headphones. Glory be the Wi-Fi password. The first world calling your sadness a guilt trip you can't afford to take. Whose shadow weighs the most? Who's got so much to laugh at but nothing's funny? And it goes, and it goes, and it goes. And all I want to be is a duvet for my family. A place comfortable enough to fall asleep around. A place that just makes you want to scream.
Y'all show some love in the comment section in the chat. That was our sacrificial poet, Matthew Cuban Hernandez. Judges, this is the longest I'm going to give you. As soon as you have your score, I need to see that in the chat. Let's do it. Lightning round. 1, 2, get it going. Yes. 3, 4, the whole round is a lightning round. 4, one more score. 5, got it. Okay, from low to high, I got an 8.2. I got an 8.4. I got another 8.4. I got an 8.5, and I got a 9.1. Show some love for the poet, not the points. That's the point of tonight. On deck, we got Bull City Slam, but coming up first, kicking this off from Black on Black Rhyme. Y'all show some love for Dennis Amadeus.
Check.
We can hear you. You're good to go.
These days, it's rare for the average person to exist on this earth for all 80 of their years and come to an actual understanding of what their purpose is. So how blessed I must be to have been able to find mine in this. Now, they say opportunity typically comes to your front door, right? And I can hear it knocking through my throat every time I perform. But it seems like no matter how hard I try and outstretch my arms to answer it, I can never get past these bars. In this track and field life, the biggest hurdle that I continuously have to jump is the background check, and I seem to trip every time. Sometimes it's just a stumble, but sometimes it's a full-on face-busting freefall that leaves a mark on my soul bigger than the ones on my record books. I've been denied for jobs, teaching positions, mentorship opportunities, and from just doing poetry in the classroom. One time, a principal actually called the sheriff to come escort me out of his school, and his words to me were, I'd be a fool if I let anybody talk to my kids with a record like you. And it was at that moment I discovered the best way to defeat somebody: take away their God-given worth. Brand them a troublemaker and take away their work. And if their worth is measured in how they work with kids, then it's not hard to understand how that brand made me feel worthless, purposeless, to the point where I had to start to define for myself what purpose really is. And it's through that journey I discovered that purpose is something that God gives. And since anything God gives isn't something man can take away, then God must also create the conditions that make it seem that way. So if I feel these weights getting heavy on me during this race, it's not because I'm simply meant to feel the pain of disaster. No, it's because maybe I need to be stronger rather than faster, because my power will directly come from everything I've toppled that they use to try and break me. Each one of these tripped up hurdles is just a lesson, a reminder to myself to never settle for second, because those that need me need more than just another second-rate teacher. They need an educational weapon, but I can't counsel kids because they claim I clash with cops. Meanwhile, corrupted, coked-up controllers cancel classes round the clock, shun the reading, cancel outreach, build schools on top of cash, and label me unfit to teach, when I just know that poetry is something every child branded at-risk needs, because I understand what it's like to be viewed as something you yourself can't see. They ran some checks into your background and labeled you at risk of what? At risk of becoming like me? But if that's the truth, then you're just at risk of becoming free, at risk of learning through strife, changing your life and redefining what the label at risk means. The point I'm trying to make is that this is all a test, a way to prove to God that I'm worthy of her best, a divine background check to balance my wants and haves, because I want to be able to proudly carry the label teacher. So I have to study daily. I have to write a lot. I have to become one of the best poets of my lot. Because of the dumb thing this young kid did, I have to keep proving myself until you all will listen in. Because in a land where a background check is the standard used to determine your worth, even a poet has to make his actions louder than his words. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Dennis Amadeus representing Black on Black Rhyme. Judges, I need them scores. All right. Oh, I like my judges. They're quick. They're on it. We're doing it. I hope y'all are showing love in the comment sections, in the chat, all that fun stuff. Here we go. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 waiting on my last one. From low to high. Wait, my bad. Voice of God. What was the score for Matthew Cuban on this?
25.3.
25.3. Give it up for the poet, not the points. All right. Speaking of points, Dennis Amadeus gets from low to high an 8.6, a 9.1, a 9.4, a 9.4, and our first 10 of the evening. All right. New Jeru, you are on deck, but coming up next to the microphone from Bull City Slam, it's Hassan.
Hello.
You're good to
Sound
go.
good? Senator Hillary Clinton stood in front of a New Hampshire college and projected her voice across a stage, spoke life into a thought, and used her platform to infect a generation with her bias, told half the story with her whole chest. There are 9 different definitions of projection. Definition 4, presentation or promotion of someone or something, a quote. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They're the types of kids that are often called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We could talk about how they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. Definition 1, an estimate or forecast of future trends based on a study of present ones. John DeUlio, a political scientist, coined the term super predator to mean a young juvenile criminal who's so impulsive, so remorseless that he can maim, rape, or kill without giving it a second thought. In 1995, DeUlio was invited to a working White House dinner on juvenile crime. He sat in front of the Clintons. He served them lies. It fed their greed. They ate it up. False flag appetizers, an entree full of fake news, a side of pseudoscience and prejudice for dessert. They washed it all down with coded language aimed to label Black children as dangerous based on their projections. Definition 6, the unconscious transfer of one's own emotions or another, one's own emotions or desires to another person. Psychologists define this as a defense mechanism which the ego will protect itself from its own unconscious impulses by attributing them to other people, like blaming kids for being in gangs as if you aren't the den mother of the biggest operation on the planet. Like you ain't been trapping, claim us remorseless, and then lock up the fathers of every child you ever tried to make part of the problem and offer no solutions, only cops that kick in doors and deal death or life behind bars, moving product. Leave kids outside alone to walk down the only path you've left them. Say they gangsters all day, but never talk about how they ended up that way. Definition 5, a mental image viewed as a reality. The reality. You don't have to say black to mean it. Their code ain't been hard to crack since they declared war on drugs and ain't say they bought the pack, then crack bombed our communities and cracked down on our backs. The worst thing to ever come into our neighborhoods was white, packed up or blue-eyed or blue lights, killing our kids and cry wolf if we fight and we vote for the bastards that sign laws into action that pay for the cops while we pay for the caskets. Be real. Politicians are the real super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about how they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to you. Thank you.
Y'all clap for the poet. That was Hassan representing Bull City Slam. Voice of God. What was the score for Dennis Amadeus?
That was a 27.9.
27.9 for Dennis Amadeus. Y'all show some love in the chat, in the comment section. We got 3 scores in for Hassan. I need 2 more. Also, I need to know who New Jeru is sending up, please and thank you. I got 4 scores. I got 5 scores. All right, for Hassan, we got a low score of a 7.5. We got an 8.6, an 8.9, a 9.0, and a 9.5. Y'all show some love for the poem, not the points. On deck is Bull City Slam, but coming up next from New Jeru, it's a group piece.
Hello? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
You're good to go, poets.
Okay. So, during the ugly stage of dreadlocks, your hair stops anywhere above or around the earlobe. It hasn't yet locked, especially at the top. So when it untwists, it looks like a fucked up afro. They call it ugly.
Depending on the length, the texture of hair shape of your head.
They call it ugly because it looks like a bud when it begins to felt and twist becomes dreads. During the ugly stage,
My manager asked, so when do you plan on getting a haircut? Said we like our service to be shaven down. Presentable, clean cut.
But this hair ain't the dirt, it's the roots. During ugly stage, I learned that my interim trying to reach my shoulder was way worse than the braids that stop at the top of your neck.
Not the neck braids.
Bitch, I can set it in the teeth of a comb true to the magic of my process. But there's beauty in the ugly. Thou shalt not skip the struggle. During ugly stage, I was still in middle school.
Okay.
Classmates just knew I was a lesbian or soon to be hothead. But I ain't give a fuck, because when the DJ played Nuck If You Buck, all the haters wanted to have dreads. And before I got this, bundles came in abundance. Hair pulled back and plaited under a Brazilian wavy 22-inch. Before I got this, my tender head stayed cornrow.
Yo, I kept the waves on swim that would have made you seasick.
Hot homes and creamy crack to clean the kitchen in the back.
Religiously brushing till every kink and coil laid down flat. But God's hair don't lay.
Oh, hell no. That shit lock. Don't you know? To dread is to anticipate with great fear. It is more than hair, it is heritage. To dread is to anticipate with great apprehension. Not an extension of anything, but excellence. You dare try to mold that into obedience? Watch a white face build on the back of a black dollar?
Then say this black hair don't belong around the white collar.
Sweeping these edges every morning? Bonnet and scarves tied tight to keep them straight every night? Y'all still look down on weaves and braids.
How many seas drown my culture for do-rags to crown my culture? It's so many of us in the water.
Ain't y'all tired of seeing a nigga head under waves? What wrong? Not be dread too nappy.
Nappy Dre too, nigga.
The texture of beauty got too much backbone to be bone straight. It takes time for these vines to hang low and return to the dirt. Hell, these roots be in reverse, a blessing. My hair choosing to be entangled with the product of itself instead of product on a shelf. Who taught you dreads were dreadful? Don't you know? Before man feared God, he dreaded her, said, the fear of the Lord be upon you, and bowed his head,
Showing God-fearing men wore dreads.
so they called him Dread. Then a white man came from west, saw tribal ropes raining round your neck, forged key to your locks, to colonize your coils, said your crown was held together by soil. He then led you to believe that your hair was dirty, that your holy was ugly, that your roots ain't royal, that these dreads were motherfucking dreadful. Thank you.
That was New Jeru with the group piece. Y'all show some love in the chat, in the comments. All right. What was the score, Voice of God, for Hassan?
That was a 26.5.
26.5. That was the score for Hassan. I'm getting the scores for New Jeru's group piece. I still need to know who Bull City is sending up, please and thank you. Scores for New Jeru are from low to high: a 9.3, a 9.7, a 9.7, a 9.8, and a 10. On deck is New Jeru. Bull City Slam. Who you sending up? It's Tamiya!
Can you say something?
Hello.
Sound good.
You're good to go.
I know a boy so obsessed with dying that he turns his life into a memorial service. He forces me to hear the drafts of his eulogy every day. He uses his hometown as a giant coffin, so as he buries himself, he won't be alone. He knows that if he is ever on the wrong side of a trigger, his homies will show up for him. His shooter will soon be joining him. His funeral will be open casket. This boy got rap dreams, but all he can seem to produce is dying. He has curated his death so finely that the entire neighborhood has had a hand in choosing his grave. He even wants to lower himself in when it's time. He has always had this fascination with the earth. He was one of those kids who had to see all of the things you could create from the dirt until the time came when he realized the connection between dirt and people. Until he saw so many niggas hit the dirt, he began to think maybe he should join them, because what could be a more beautiful union than the body returning to its place of origin? He keeps telling me everybody gotta die, so he's just gonna keep going until it happens. He keeps telling me everybody gotta die, so he's just gonna keep going until it happens. His only wish is that we take care of his family. But all I can think about is the fact that I will have nothing to tell them. How do I give condolences for someone who wanted to be gone? Someone who wrote his own eulogy and stamped it. A boy who, after it all, expects his flowers to come from me. I want to call him manipulative, but I understand him all too well. I know what it feels like to step onto the closest ledge in hopes that someone will stop your feet from leading you over. Have fell asleep at the wheel and found myself becoming acquainted with the guardrail as I was chasing the kind of high you can't find in a substance, but this boy has done it all. It would be easier to talk about what hasn't been in his body than what has. How many more bodies he plans to run through than the ones he's already ruined. He covers that burial ground with dirt he spews from his own words, and still he expects his flowers to come from me. Like I wasn't almost in that graveyard, like he doesn't expect me in his graveyard. He has curated his death so finely that he digs his own grave, yet longs for someone to stop him before he lowers himself in. This boy, a cynic, will tell you we live to die. An optimist will tell you we should be dying to live, and I haven't found a label that stretches enough to fit me, but I believe we should be living to live again. But I still couldn't stop the boy from toying too much with the Reaper. So I gave his eulogy exactly the way he wrote it. I told his family what a tragic accident it was, how he was gone too soon, and I still show up for him when nobody else does. His flowers come from me just like he always knew that they would. You would think his tombstone was a damn garden, and it is only right that he stands out in death as much as he felt out of place in life. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Tamiya representing the Bull City Slam. Voice of God, what was the score for New Jeru's group piece?
With a time penalty of 0.5, the score was 28.7.
28.7. Boo the time penalty, but make some noise, show some love for the poets. Now, my judges, you on it. My judges, you on it. New Jeru, I need to know who you sending up next. But the scores for Tamiya and Bull City Slam were an 8.8, a 9.6, a 9.7, a 9.7, and a 9.8. Y'all show some love for the poet, not the points. Black on Black Rhyme, you are on deck. But coming up next, representing New Jeru, y'all make some noise, show some love, do whatever you need to do for Roddy.
Hello, can you hear me?
You're good to go.
Don't ask me why I don't like men when you hear me say I love women. I've loved men. Hell, my first love was man like no other. He was massive, covered in color with dimples in his smile and palms that can take trees down. I've loved man. Slept underneath the warmth of his flesh at night. My home was in his blood, right beside his manhood. He loved me so much he considered me his privates. We were inseparable. I've loved man. Felt him get nervous. Watch the surface of his pores fill up with salty liquid fear and the heat of passion. When someone can see me clear through his jeans, I've loved man, seen his happiness, how quick it vanishes. His body manages to pull me in closer, easing a chill he knew all too well. See, life can be so fucking cold, and I've loved man. When walls close and tight around me, his muscles contract, wrapped with nerves that swell when words couldn't explain their anger like a knee between his legs, and I've loved man. From cuticles to follicles, his hair, coarse, dark, always kept low. He said men with no hair was toddlers, homos, or dudes in pornos, and I've loved man. Because he was all I knew, till one night he grew with lust. Met a woman's eyes and traced down to her thighs. To my surprise, he groped her and kissed her gently as if he was never with me. So I watched him play in her bed, thrusting between her legs, felt his heart racing, body sweating, blood pumping. Then something discharged me out of him and left me there inside of her. I mean, he actually left me in this woman, rolled over and left me in this woman. How can he leave me in this woman? I wanted to hate this woman, but she accepted me. Allowed her blood to run through my veins. The pain of being disregarded by him left me so brokenhearted that she rebuilt me. Made this Eve of her own bone and flesh. Her strength was imprinted on my fingertips as I finally reached out and touched her. She was as soft as the voice that was lullabying this water sack surrounding me, drowning out the outside world where he was. And I wonder if he ever loved me the way that I love man, the way that I love woman. Now, how could I not? After she sheltered my limbs underneath her ribcage, carried the plight of my life in her gut for 9 months. I have loved man, but man ain't never done nothing like that for me. He is too used to dispelling his blessings while she involved his minute matter into this miracle man on top of woman has been the story throughout history. But nothing is better than being inside of a woman to me, because mommy placed me underneath her heart and Ricky placed me underneath his waist, and she, Karen, loves me just as much as I've loved man. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Roddy representing New Jeru. Before we get the scores for Roddy, Voice of Goddess, what was the score for Tamiya?
That was a 29 even.
29 even for Tamiya. Y'all get excited for the poets, not the points. Right now, I got 4 scores. I'm waiting on one more judge, and I need to know who Black on Black Rhyme is sending up for Roddy from low to high. I got an 8.4. I got a 9.3. A 9.6. Another 9.6. And a 10. All right. Y'all show some love. Show some love. On deck. On deck, we got IQ. But coming to the stage right now, representing Black on Black Rhyme, y'all show some love for Nick Austin.
Mic check.
Good to go.
For fractured poets who have considered never competing again after receiving a low score in a poetry slam, / when the open mic is enough. Is there anything more gut-wrenching than spilling your guts on a stage until all 22 feet of your small intestine are wrapped around the stand of the microphone and you can barely stand but all the lights are on? So now both your legs are trembling with the inside of your boots resembling an 8.6 on the Richter scale, because you know that as an artist, we don't get to fail in public, or it just might lead to our passing in private. Is there anything more deafening than a crowd rewarding your sacrifice with silence? Deciding which poems to use in a slam is akin to cutting yourself open and choosing which organs to offer to strangers for their approval. Like, how can you have 10 of my ribs in possession and still give me a 7? If I pull out my pancreas, there's no way it gets lower than an 8, especially if I throw it on a plate. Maybe if I toss in both kidneys, they might just do. But if I add in my colon, I don't think I can stomach anything lower than a 9.2. And oh, you know what? Since I had my appendix removed, that's one of the organs that I can never use again. So when I cut out my heart and place it on the side where it used to reside, maybe the combination of the 1 and the 0 will produce a 10. These are the parts of me that everyone else hardly sees, and a few never do. I love both my parents, but those 2 never knew about my pill addiction, and they still don't. But one of the most common fan requests that I always get is, when you gonna spit that pill poem? Oh, and when you're done, I want you to spit that one where you're crying. I don't actually want you to kill yourself, but I want you to spit that one about trying after all. What's wrong with cutting your stitches to reopen wounds in an open room where even if they give you your flowers, you still have to hope they bloom? I'm surrounded by judges, and not just the 5 who get to justify if I get to stay alive, if I get to survive. The world loves the prosecutors, so I guess that makes me the defendant. I did the crime. I wrote the poem, but unlike a real courtroom, I don't get a chance to defend it. Am I not entitled to a fair trial by a jury of my peers? I will not be bridled with a bare smile when the fury reappears. I don't need that feedback when you fake and friendly. You know me from my poetry, but I've been distancing myself socially long before COVID made it trendy. I've had my face behind a mask before and after the panoramic broke. Poetry has always been my antidote, so no, you don't get to judge me. And I'd love to see you attempt to hold me in contempt, because when it comes to these poems, no one is exempt. Let's see you take the stand in the spotlight and not fight about every aggrieving score they give you. Because I know a heavy poem could be heartbreaking to listen to, but it's even more to live through. Thank you.
Y'all show some love for Nick Austin representing Black on Black Rhyme. Voice of Goddess, what was the score for Roddy?
That was a 28.5.
28.5 for Roddy. Make some noise, get excited for the poem, not the points. Judges, I love my judges, they on it. All right. From low to high, I have a 9.0, a 9.2, a 9.8, a 10, and another 10. Okay. Coming up next to the stage, we have our first indie poet competing. Y'all show some love for IQ.
Can you hear me from Australia?
Good to go.
For Ruby and Lillian. It was almost 12 years ago that they yanked you out cesarean. And I whispered, as the first person to hold you on this planet, I've now become both a lion and a teddy bear because of you. You became my closest, nearest, as they call it, next of kin. In Japan, kin is a fist. And I realized I'd gifted you something invaluable. I gave you my blood, my genetic song lines. So let me explain what being a next of kin really is. You will remember genetically the Evansville Aces, you will remember Pratt City, and you will remember Birmingham. The whole of it, from 5 points to the tornado that ripped through. You have been gifted the Macarena, the electric slide, the nut bush, and you might be tempted to the rump shaker just because you remember certain things. Vampire movies told me this. It's in your blood, but it's also your mitochondrial DNA. You'll talk to me. You'll like Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou, and you will be partial forever to Southern Fried Slam poetry. Blame me if you want to. I deserve to be blamed sometimes. Sometimes I also deserve to be kept quietly in your memory, like Bible verses tucked into your papyrus skin. You have been gifted a love for Khalil Gibran, Gabriel Mistral, Pablo Neruda, and Sun Ra's wonderful compositions. You were born to love chicken, to worship in collard greens. You were born to be quiet and also never mute your spirit. When something is evil in the world, you should stand up and fight it. I gave you my kin, these fists, but your own fingerprints, and beg that you remember always that you peeked through the celestial curtain of midnight and came to me as a gift. You turned me into a lion and a teddy bear. So it might seem queer that this preacher's son is not going to judge you for loving who and what you want to love this lifetime. I only ask that you keep teaching me, that you keep me young, that you make me sing every day with this blood, that you make me cry and remember that no man needs to hate his own seed for any reason, that America can't break you and Australia can't make you by herself. You were meant to be a citizen of this entire world. And yes, I want you to waltz and gangster walk. Please, pray and love every day. Listen to the news and ignore it. Make it. You are an ancient scribe of living word blood. I'm your father. Someday you'll sing me into my grave. But don't answer quietly when they ask, are you my next of kin? Tell them, my father made me a gentle fist for the future. And I'm a punch above my weight until I come back to this planet again.
Y'all, that was IQ. Show some love in the comments in the chat. Wherever you're watching from, do a little dance. I don't know what you're doing down there, but do that. Do that. Voce de la Dea, what was the score for Nick Austin?
That was a 29 even.
29 even for Nick Austin. And now for IQ, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. From low to high, I have an 8.4, an 8.8, an 8.9, a 9.2, and a 9.9. I'm going to give my, I hope I'm saying that right. I just looked it up. Voce de la Dea, a moment to compute. On deck is New Jeru, but what we're going to do right now in just a moment is we're going to take a quick break, people. Because believe it or not, we are halfway done with tonight's slam. Or at least this bout slam, because there's still something else coming up afterwards. So, what was the score for IQ? Maybe.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
You're good. I can keep stalling, you know. During the break, it's going to be a very strong 5-minute break. Very solid 5-minute break. During the break, do what you need to do. Go to the bathroom, go refill your drink, tip your bartender, which is you. And maybe go buy tickets for tomorrow's finals. You can go do that.
Okay, I got the score.
Yes.
With a time penalty of 1, the score is 25.9.
25.9 for IQ. All right, people, that is officially the end of the first half of this bout. We are going to take a 5-minute break. It is 7:24 on my clock, so we will be starting officially in 5 minutes. Please make sure if you're competing in this bout, you're back before that. Judges, same thing. Please be back before 5 minutes. DJ, please take it away.
I fortunately can't play music because of copyright concerns. But I have a nice. Is the load screen working correctly? Can you guys see it?
We can see it. I can also make random noises for 5 minutes, but I don't think anyone wants to hear that.
Well,
we'll be right back.
Time check. You got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Poets and judges, this is your 1-minute warning. 1-minute warning. We'll be starting with the show in 1 minute.
I love that. Chibi, I have to tell you a story. I went to the bathroom and my pit bull was so happy that I came out of the room that she launched and like parkoured everywhere and she like knocked everything over the table. And then I came back in here. So for all of you competing out there whose pets miss you, this is for you.
What a perfect way to bring us back into the second half of this bout. We're getting started. I should have done a countdown, not a count out, but whatever. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all, can I just say, I'm not being partial or anything, but I have the best judges. The absolute best judges. They have been on top of it with their scores. They were back with their cameras on, ready to go. Okay. Yes, judges, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you've contributed so far. We've got 2 more rounds of team bouts and 1 more indie poet competing in tonight's competition. I hope everyone's back because I can only see my judges. So we're going to get these things going.
I'm trying to see, can we see Judge 2?
Yes, Judge 2's video is there.
Okay.
They turned it back on.
I'm just making sure there's a human on the other end. My
It has been, yes.
Hey,
there's a hand.
hello.
I was not concerned. It has been consistently pointed at their ceiling, and but I know they're there. I know they're there.
Sorry for stepping in. I'm just doing my tech thing.
Very good, very good. All right. On deck is Black on Black Rhymes, but here to kick off the second half of this competition, Jeru coming to the stage with a group piece. Jeru, you're needed at the stage. All right, there we go.
Can you hear us?
You hear us, guys?
Good to go.
When a country likes to demonize what it eventually profits from, what is the difference between a blunt and a prison? Who does weed ruins your neighborhood? Black boys ruin your neighborhood. Both are broken down so they can only fit inside of a joint. Both America learned how to illegally smoke, not afraid to cop a charge of rolling up and blowing an entourage away. The hood be the plug and the product. Yo, you ever look at how the projects line up? Don't it look like a plantation of cash crops? They harvest boys, pick them when they're mature enough. The process of growing weed for money, where do you think they got the design from? Farmers find the perfect city for the weed to grow. The best bud goes straight from the dirt. Police select the 4 cities where black boys grow. The best boys grow straight from the dirt. During the cultivation process, the weed needs sufficient light for the plant to grow. Black boys are seen in a certain light for the prison to grow. And the plant is dependent on the grower to get it to survive, to get it ready for a sale. The government makes the hood dependent on it to survive before they get boys ready for a sale. America generated as well from the hustle. Uncle Sam, the original dealer, sold us a dub. I got that new Jim Crow. This shit right here gets you high enough to leave you too stuck to move forward. The judicial branch, another tree to hang the body of a nigga. The industry perfected where to plant the drugs. Knew the product person had more value if you criminalized it than took it off the corner. Every arrest is a crime they cultivated. Like weed, the best of profile, carefully selected, then bagged for distribution throughout the country. Housing confinement in synthetic conditions. Yo, they packed a courtroom like they packed a bowl. Burning the remains of men to live off the haze of the 13th Amendment. A dispensary and a correctional facility price their weight the same. Depending on the color deciphers how much they're charged. 40,000 people are locked up for marijuana in the same states as being commercially sold. Yo, it's so accepted now. You can find prison labor, weed almost everywhere. In a shopping mall, gas station, or retail stores. Karen is trying weed yoga off of Groupon. While the boys that look like me are bending over backwards in poses like downward facing arrest. I'll never see my family again, warrior stance. Free my nigga hung in the system tree poles. Hipsters enjoy puffin' paint art nights. While the judicial system paints pictures of broken black families framed and hung for display. It's hard not to be sour when I know it's always been a blues dream. To cage a cush-looking kid who ain't got the same rights as a white widow. And not just the young bucks.
Hell, they'll treat your granddaddy like a perp. Get blunt when they see OGs, original gods, aim at our tops and make us run in zigzags like it's a game. Black boys, sweet buds are broken down so they can only fit inside of a joint. Scraped out remnants from the grinder. Filter into a place of no escape. You possessed us this whole time. You tricked us into thinking possession was a crime. Thank you.
Yo, that was new Jeru with a groupies, and my judges are already on it. All right, scores are coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and final score 5. All right, from low to high, I got an 8.5, and then I got a 9.2, a 9.7, a 10, and another 10. Okay. On deck is Bull City Slam, but Black on Black Rhyme is sending up Hakeem Furious.
Hello?
You're good to go.
I was raised in a sandbox next to you and her. You were holding the handgun. She was giving birth to a baby to be born just like me. I wonder what it's worth. I wonder if you knew you were a role model to me first. The next morning, I woke up in the morning, seen you on the news, looked in the mirror and realized that I had something to prove. You told me, don't be like me, just finish watching cartoons. Now all I see is Wile E. Coyotes in the room. Dear Father, I don't mean to take up too much of your time, and I've been to enough therapy sessions not to ask the same mundane questions like who, my mother, where, the bedroom next to mine, why, money, choice of weapon, up close and personal. For some time now, I noticed that my progression has been teetering on the silver line of my past and potential sentimental mood swings off the deep end. It deepens when I find out little things like you never signed my birth certificate, or you read my messages and never responded. For some time now, I noticed that my brothers and I have a prison pipeline running through our veins that leads to you, causing penitentiary poems. Pay attention to me poems. Dear Pops, you made my life a little complex, and I don't know if I should keep going. Uncle's telling me you're a real lady killer. You can charm your way into a woman's heart so much, you can make it stop beating. Mama said that you left her breathless, but now she is a breath less alive. When you had your hands around her neck, is that what you meant by you never let her go? Get rich quick schemes for life insurance, but you left my life no assurance of parents or a home or a stable mind. Therapy made me condescending. Church made me feel like a victim of God. The Holy Trinity, like you're the Father, I'm the Son, and you left Mama the Holy Ghost. The only thing that seems to help is poetry. Like, let me make it easier for the audience to understand. Imagine if someone turned their back on you while hanging on to their every word, never to see their face again. I try to get away from the problem, but it returns for me to face again. And I don't know if I should call you daddy or demon. Do you refer to me as son or semen? The walls between us are bars and cement, and this is one poem that might not have the courage to get sent. Dear Father, this is not for pent-up feelings or cheap shots of agony. I am your seed, and I need your help to become the person I need to be. Thank you.
Y'all make some noise for Hakeem Furious representing Black on Black Rhyme. Judges already doing the thing, doing the thing, doing the thing. Judges doing the thing, doing the thing, doing the thing. One more. Chicka, 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 chicka. Okay. For Hakeem from Low to High, I have an 8.9. a 9.4, a 9.6, a 9.9, and a 10 and a 1, but it's just going to be a 10, y'all. All right. What was, my bad, excuse me, Voce de la Dea, what was the score for New Jeru?
That was a 28.9.
28.9 for New Jeru. Clap for that poet, and I'd be telling you who to clap for next. On deck is Justin Blackburn, but coming up next from Bull City Slam is Lonnie. Y'all get excited.
Hello?
You're good to go.
We spent our summer drunk in love. Put Beyonce and Jay to shame. Bottles on the floor. Tears decorating walls, sheets, pillows. We were clouded. In Greensboro, wilding, trying to have the love we always dreamed up but never lived out. I was always crying. On the bedroom floor, screaming, running from demons, and that explains why I be drinking. Prayed you catch the triggers before I did. That way, bad memories wouldn't taunt me at night. We spent more nights drunk and loved than sober, and that is the only time we talked about any of it. Blunts and bottles heard our story, all that just for us to want to say, I miss you, or I love you, or come back to me. But that ain't never been us, so I break down, you light up, and we spend the next morning trying to hold on. We steady thinking, this better than the last time, but we was always in two places at once, the past and the present. It was good till it wasn't. I'm steady creeping over us. What we were, could have been, should have been, and will never be. I turned myself inside out the first time you left. So when you came back, I wanted to be your supermodel. Wanted us to be perfect, make all the mess, all the tears worth it, but old habits die hard. Ashes to ashes, dust to side chicks, bitter exes, always trying to put hexes on what was never meant for them. Now I be trying to wonder how many times our hearts gonna run circles around each other. How many lives I'ma love you in if we will find forever. We, two wordsmiths, crafting museums in our notebooks, and the stage has never met me loving you. Just unloving you, trying to forget, and now I just want to do what's justice. And if I can't love you in this life, I guess I'll settle for the next lifetime. But that's not sooner than later. So for now, I will write this poem and take a shot for you, my angel from heaven. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Lonnie representing Bull City Slam. Show some love in the chat, in the comments, in wherever it is that you are. Voce de la Dea. What was the poem for Hakeem?
That was a 28.9.
28.9 for Hakeem. Clap for the poet, not the points. And my judges already got it in for Lonnie from low to high. We have an 8.9, an 8.9, an 8.9. A 9.0 and a 9.3. It's about the poetry, not the points. Y'all show some love for the poet. On deck, we have Black on Black Rhyme, but coming up next to the stage, your second indie poet in tonight's competition, it is Justin Blackburn. Justin Blackburn is needed on the stage.
It's saying that I can't. Okay, there it goes. It was saying that I couldn't start my video, so sorry.
Nope. Wait, we lost you again. We can hear you though.
Oh, you can't see me, but you can hear me?
Yeah, we cannot see you.
Okay, it's not letting me start my video for some reason. Can I just do it without the video?
I just asked you to start your video. Did you get a permission?
We did see you for like half a second.
There, now you should be good. Wait,
okay.
now
is it working? Good.
No.
Good.
I love. So hold on, I'm gonna ask to start your video. Did you get a permission? There you go. Now you turned it off again.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'll go. Don't want to wake up again. All right, here we go. Take two. Here we go. So I apologize. The poem that I was gonna do, I was gonna read it off the thing. So that's why my video kept breaking down. And I was wondering if I could just read it and do it without a video. I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's up to you. Go for it. That's
okay, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
All right. Here we go. This is love yourself enough to embrace who you are. The unclaimed parts, claim them. You like the smell of your own farts, then fart, motherfucker, fart. Love yourself enough to create the most honest art and share it. The assholes talking shit behind your back. Love yourself enough to laugh, to let them carry it. You got 6 toes? Everyone thinks it's gross? Oh no. Love yourself enough to ask Jesus to clean your feet. The 8th grade bully still putting you down in the back seat of your mind. Love yourself enough to rewind to the first time he said, "You got tits like a chick." Watch yourself say back, "Yeah, they're beautiful. Would you like to suck them?" Love yourself enough to punch him and make that your new memory. Love yourself enough to be secure in your identity, to be poor in a room full of millionaires, to admit the shit that makes everyone else scared. My name is Justin and I have a small dick. Look, nothing happened. You have no car? Love yourself enough to appreciate your feet. You have no money? Love yourself enough to appreciate your heartbeat. You have no lover? Love yourself enough to appreciate the warm pussy of the past, to take another sip while knowing this rotten, olive, alcoholic state won't last. Love yourself enough to not let it. Be honest with your fear. What makes you think issues disappear by pretending they aren't there? Disease is not an unlucky spin of the wheel. It is us ignoring how we truly feel. God and Satan have been watching too many late 90s teen comedies and decide to make a bet to fuck up your life just to see what you got left. Put on your sexiest push-up bra, your hottest cheerleading outfit, and scream, "Bring it on, universe, you son of a bitch." Love yourself enough to appreciate your shitty life, to write what the fuck you want to write, to know this poem is too real for how middle America feels that your audience will leave before the ending. Love yourself enough to let them, to not base your worthiness on their acceptance, to know this poem is just a question you must answer each second of your life. Love yourself enough to get the answer right, whether in front of a billion people or being an idiot on Zoom, to feel your heart go boom, 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 and answer yes. I love myself enough to express.
Yo, that was Justin Blackburn. Show some love, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Okay. What was the score for Lonnie?
That was a 26.8.
26.8 for Lonnie. It's not about the points, it's about the poetry. Show some love for the poet. My judges are getting their scores in for Justin. Got him. Okay, here we go. From low to high, we have a 7.5. a 7.8, an 8.6, an 8.6, and a 9.4. Y'all clap for the poet, clap for the poet, clap for the poet. I assume you're clapping. On deck, we're getting into our final rotation of the teams for this bout. On deck, we got Bull City Slam, but coming up to the stage right now, representing Black on Black Rhyme, it is Derek Standifer.
I can't hear you. Say something. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can. Sounds good.
My check.
Yeah.
He asked me, what is black on black rhyme? I replied, it's the opposite of black on black crime. Drop the C, but we push positivity and we provide a lot of energy. We follow a set core beliefs and we don't give a man food, but we teach him how to eat. But we feed if he in need. We got rules, we pay dues, and we do follow a system. Then I thought of all the lives black on black rhyme saved. So it's safe to say that black on black rhyme is a religion. When I'm down, confused, lost, I write. Instead of confessing to a prayer box, I head to an open mic to get some upliftment or to ease some tension. If I practice Hinduism, I'd head to the holy temple for the same symptoms. When I say back talk, that's equivalent to can I get a witness? You giving sermons, it's the same thing as me spitting. Shaking shakers, it's the same thing as catching the Holy Spirit. I proclaim being a poet after y'all claim being Christian. That was my first time stepping into a venue and my spirit got lifted. Instead of psalms, we got limericks performing our lyrics. Traded proverbs for haikus. Drop more knowledge than a brain slipper from pockets of professors at the top college. I get blessings when y'all stream rewind. Hit the crossroads, pulled out a pen and wrote messed up words, crossed them out and kept going. One step in David's shoes, my sling broke. I kept throwing, and when I found poetry, simultaneously I found glory. Started out with a small level of confidence, and I kept growing. Now I'm here, and it's the realest shit I ever wrote. And if you decided to steal my poem, it'll be the realest shit you ever quote. Open mic doors to me are heaven's gates. Please let me in. I don't care if there's only one person in the audience. Please let me spit. I'm content. Tried the crowds ain't never fit. Everyone has their own genesis through penmanship. The day I joined Black on Black Rhyme is the day I went through deliverance, told my story. Even when it was boring, y'all listened. First time hitting the stage, I felt christened. Fell in love with a life with no 401ks and pensions. If you're a poet, you know the 2 million of riding around and getting it. Notebooks and matching pens on every Christmas wish list. I live in the present, so I know that I'm gifted. Brainstorming has become one of my 6 senses. I pray to come to open mics and y'all pay attention. Black on Black crime does the killings. Black on Black rhyme does the resurrections. And to those who fill the seats, thank y'all for receiving the message. Thank you for allowing me to be in your presence. So in return, I bring gifts, stories of my real life, not fables. Tap your arms, I'm dope like Kane, and to rock a stage, I'm able. These are the reasons I do what I do. I respect all you, Jews, Muslims, and Christians, but Black on Black rhyme is my real religion.
Y'all make some noise, show some love, do what you got to do. Pop a firecracker. No, don't. For Derek from Black on Black Rhyme, we got 2 poets, or maybe more poets, but we got 2 more teams left before the conclusion of this bout. As soon as this bout is over, there's another bout that's starting somewhere else in the world, so make sure you go and check that out somewhere in the virtual world. Also, don't forget that tickets are on sale for tomorrow night's finals. The top teams and the top indie poets are going to be competing for a chance to win over $6,000 in cash prizes. In cash prizes, people. We're giving away real money. So I hope you guys tune in for that. We are still calculating Justin's score, so we will get that to you in a moment, but we're going to move on to the next poet. On deck is New Jeru, but coming up next, Bull City Slam sending up a group piece. A video of a group piece, and I think our technical director has that. Thank you.
Did you feel the shift?
How it cracked their fragility.
How it broke their shell?
Left their backwards views exposed.
Showcased how a viral moment can incite feelings of panic.
I can smell their fear. It is drenched in acknowledgement with no sense of understanding.
A stench poignant with ignorance, it reeks in undertones.
Like fresh mulch downtown, spread over the roots of trees trapped in concrete graveyards, the final mark of gentrification.
Like coffee shop monopoly, until it gets closed down by quarantine and boarded up, covered with the stench of injustice, it reeks in undertones.
White people have spilled into so many Black neighborhoods, but still don't know how to recognize a spread.
They've never been scared before, and I can tell, unfamiliar with unfamiliar waters.
They're used to belonging.
They've never drowned before.
Not sure what to do when the law rules their existence as a threat to life.
All that casket pretty that they've been spreading, and they might not even be able to live to see it. Everything they spent their life building just for it to fall apart. We've been dealing with the senseless killings, when the media is oversaturating our senses like neon lights, but now the feeling is mutual because anybody can get it.
And I can feel your fear. You're new here. Ain't never known a genocide that chose you too. Ain't never felt like a target before.
Things hit close to home when you're only concerned with your backyard. Everybody is masked up so you can't recognize the villains or face the truth.
Color is not a good enough barrier anymore. I hope you built something sealed enough to keep the water out.
If you haven't heard, this is the flood.
Can you feel it tapping on your window pane? I imagine the last storm is gonna start as a drizzle.
I hope that you can swim when we stuck fighting for space just like everyone else. I pray I don't get washed away by the flood or the fear.
Maybe the sky won't open up because it isn't quite time yet. Maybe the world's not ending.
Maybe this is an opportunity for the privileged to realize that it ain't all black and whitewashed, that the universe is colored. Maybe this will help you find value in the hue in humans.
Maybe we'll all learn to appreciate our breath.
Appreciate the moment, appreciate each other.
Maybe one day we'll find out who has enough fear to cover the world with, and we'll stop letting them control us. Stop letting them control you.
Yo, that was Bull City Slam with a group piece. Show some love, do a little dance, boogie nights. I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Voce de la Dea, do we have a score for Justin yet?
Yes, we do. With a time penalty of 1, the score is 24 even.
Thank you. And do we have a score for Derek?
We do, and that score is 28.4.
All right, clap for the poets. It's about the poetry, not the points. And scores for Bull City Slam are almost, what is 1, 2, 3, 4? I am confused by things that are happening in the chat. I am missing, there we go. All right. All right, so from low to high for Bull City Slam, we have an 8.5, an 8.7, an 8.7, an 8.8, and a 9.1. Clap for the poets, clap for the poets. Here to close us out from New Jeru, make some noise for Nelly Bess.
Can you hear me?
You're good to go.
When my friend stumbles across my pregnancy test on the car ride home, she will not ask if it is mine. She will assume it is for someone else, like the pharmacist apologizing for accidentally calling me sir. It's funny how people will dismiss possibility on appearance alone. When dykes cry rape, that is eyewitness enough. Masculinity, the perfect alibi to prove he wasn't where my rape kit said he was. And the world says they don't understand why a straight man would want to touch anything that looked like a boy. As if choice of clothing has ever been permission for the grieving. As if sexual assault only likes a particular kind of woman and I can't be its type. And the thought of morning sickness gave me no room to process the... I just can't say it. I question when I come, if it is something I willingly gave or something stolen. When I can't from my girlfriend, I wonder if my body knows how to give, if it isn't being forced first. When my body goes quiet, because it still hasn't forgiven me for letting this happen, cannot bring itself to make a sound like my mother's mouth the first time she found out, the first time my hands belong to me again. I touched her like hindsight, tried to remember what my own body sounded like, question if she comes, whose fault is it? Is it if her body responds? I know response has a mind of its own. The therapist says coming during a sexual assault is quite common. And I think about the last time we were competing to apologize for the flashback, said the wrong name out during sex, and I wish it was someone I cheated with. Someone she could hate me for. My trauma, a pile of receipts she's had to pay out when I have nothing left to give, and us becoming an open relationship with my sadness. And the therapist reiterates healing is never a one-time thing. And I say victim and survivor are broken, spelled the same way. Tell me what is healing? But the world's forcing you to believe you cannot be sad anymore. The first time I came since it's really trying to say it. She'll confuse my body trying to drown itself to death as an orgasm, mistaking an open wound as a vagina, pry me open like a court case we've both been avoiding, her lips trying to suck the poison out and suffocate the memory to swallow my guilt, and us both soaking in the trigger, reminding me that I'm still unwell despite how healthy I look. And tell me, how much time do I need to heal to get my future back? Of all these parts that have yet to call themselves survivors, begging to be fixed back into a person, because I've been a person before and after the assault, but sex will make my body a reminder that every time I undress myself, they will always see the rape first. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Nelly Best representing New Jerusalem. Show some love in the comments, in the chat, wherever you be. Do what you do. Boo. Voce della Dea, do we have a score for our last group piece?
Yes, we do. And that's a 26.2.
26.2. All right, all right, all right. And judges, for the last time tonight, I need your scores. I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, I got 4, I got... Judge number 2. Judge number 2.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck here.
Oh, you're good. You know what? You can just tell it to me. That's fine.
I wanted to have a 8.5.
8.5. Thank you. All right. So for Nelly Best from Low to High, we have an 8.5. We have a 9.6, a 9.8, a 10, and a 10. Y'all clap for the poets. Y'all clap for the poets. You know what? Clap for all the poets, because that concludes tonight's competition. Voce della Dea, on top of it, can I get Nelly's score?
Absolutely. That was a 29.4.
Fantastic. Clap for all the poets, because it's not about the points, it's about the poetry. And you know what? Clap for the judges while we're at it, because our judges were on top of it all night long. Thank you so much. Your work here is done. You can just enjoy the rest of tonight's programming. I'm going to give our scorekeeper a chance to tally up our team's scores, do all the math, because we are artists, not mathematicians. And so to do that, I'm going to do a poem, if that's okay with y'all. All right, we're going to do it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. If you were in the last bout, you already heard it, but I'm going to do it again. This poem is entitled, I Spent $50 on a Garment Duffel During Quarantine, Even Though I Kept My Ass at Home the Whole Time. I ordered hope online today. The collapsible shape of possibility. A way to organize my life on the go when I can go freely again into the unknown. You could say today, I ordered something that crowds my closet. But one day soon, I hope, I ordered a way to order my things away from home, on the road, in the air, in a space unknown where I am most myself, where we come together once again, I hope, without the fear of microorganisms and death that doesn't come from something totally preventable. and a stage that doesn't double as a screen, and my words aren't filtered through headphones, and I can hear your smile without an unmute button, and I can feel you sigh because we can be closer than 6 feet. And I can go back to my hotel room and unpack everything except the bottle of Lysol I will not have to carry. I have more room for the important things like books and that shirt that smells like my husband. I want to remember what it feels like to miss my husband and the relief of coming home that isn't motivated by the fear of close encounters. So today I ordered something that'll sit unused, a relic, a reminder of the get going and go on, a symbol that we will reunite when we can finally give air hugs, the bird, pack crowds, and bags full of the next stop, the where we meet, the day I need you. Can't come soon enough. All right, people. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Once again, we have another bout that is starting, if not already, in the very immediate future, somewhere out in Zoom land. If I believe you can watch it on YouTube. There you go. And probably Facebook too. I might have made that up. But you can definitely catch it on YouTube. So go check out that bout. That's happening immediately after this bout. Don't throw away your sanitizer. Thank you, Indy. IQ. So that being said, also don't forget you can purchase tickets for tomorrow night's finals. You can do that. SouthernFriedPoetrySlam.com ? I think I got that right.
Got it.
Yes. So the moment you all have been waiting for. Tonight's results from today's bouts. For the indie poets, second place was Justin with a 24.0 and first place was IQ with a 25.9. For the team poets, that's weird. I'm sorry. Third place with a score of 108.5, it's Bull City Slam. Second place with a score of 114.2, it's Black on Black Rhyme, which means that first place with a score of 115.5, New Jeru. There you go. That's all you got from me. I gave you all. I gave you everything and you asked for more. Y'all clap for all the poets, all the teams. Thank you so much to our scorekeeper, our timekeeper, our bout manager, our tech guy, and everybody else that is working behind the scenes to make this virtual slam such an incredible event and bringing it to you again this year, because we don't take a year off at Southern Fried. That's just the way we do. Nessa Dorma is not happening because I will just burst out in tears. I'm reading the comments for those of you watching. Any hoozle. I'm done. Enjoy the rest of your evening.